What is the most complicated thing in the Five Nights at Freddy's timeline? Because if you said the year, then you're mostly correct. Obviously, stuff like this has been sort of forgotten about for a number of reasons. For one, people like MatPat have sort of debunked the year because it was either getting too complicated, or Scott didn't give a clue because, well, let's be honest here, this whole year stuff is a little bit too complicated, and, well, after Five Nights at Freddy's, this location, it's a mystery on what year and some of these games take place. However, after Security Breach, this whole year debacle has sort of become a little bit silly, as they've guessed that other games that have confirmed what year they've been in, for people to say that they've come out in years that wouldn't make any sense, and I've come to correct them. The first game we're obviously going to be talking about is, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's 1, and this one's a little bit complicated, but the year this game takes place in is, of course, 1992 to 1993, and those have been supported by MatPat's theories throughout the years of Five Nights at Freddy's 1 through basically Security Breach. While there is a hesitant theory that this game takes place in the 2000s, while the year of the pizzeria takes place in 1992, considering the fact that Five Nights at Freddy's 3 takes place 30 years later, 1993 seems to be more of the correct year for this game. As in, the timeline, not the actual year the game came. I'm not going to hang on to this one for very long, but everyone knows that Five Nights at Freddy's 2 takes place in 1987 according to the timeline. While others might say otherwise in some bullshittery way, some might say that either due to their own version of the timeline or are just completely fucking wrong. Now to get into the reason for why I made this video.
Five Nights at Freddy's 3 does not take place in fucking 2015. The game clearly takes place 30 years later after the first game, not after the second game, because that game's a goddamn motherfucking prequel. And also, I don't know why people can't fucking get that. Type in 1993 plus 30, and then you get 2023. It's that fucking simple. I don't know why people are like, oh, that doesn't make sense. Why would Scott Cawthon choose a random fucking year? It's Scott Cawthon. This is Five Nights at Freddy's you're fucking talking about here. Of course, it would have a fucking random year. Why the fuck does Five Nights at Freddy's 1 take place in 1993? Why the fuck does Five Nights at Freddy's 2 take place in 1987? It's a fucking game that's got to shut up!
Okay, I'm good now. To stop myself from losing more sanity, Five Nights at Freddy's 4 takes place in 1983 in the timeline. I know there are some people who don't think that the cartoon Fredbear and Friends showing the year 1983 is good news, but let's be honest here, it's Five Nights at Freddy's we're talking about, and how Scott Cawthon is even stated due to the bite that of course that the bite of 83 was not the bite of 87, and it was a completely different thing. And while for some people might feel like that was a bad idea, and some people might think that was a good idea, I think I can kind of understand why Scott Cawthon changed it. I mean, the bite victim in FNAF 2 lives, and the bite victim in this game, well, clearly doesn't, so it's an understandable change.